Good morning, everybody. It's 11:14 on Thursday, March 18th, 2021, and I would like to call the meeting of the Kane County Liquor Control Commission to order. May we please have the roll call?
Berman,
Herman here.
Pius, Sanchez,
Here.
Weber.
Weber present.
We have a quorum. Could we please have a approval of the minutes for June 3rd, 2020? May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you.
Herman second.
Thank you. All in favor?
We need a roll call.
Oh, second. Could we please have roll call?
Berman,
Yes.
Pius, Sanchez,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
The minutes are approved. Thank you. Now I'd like to turn this meeting over to Jane Talish, and she will provide us with an update on the status of the 2021 liquor license applications.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to let you know, I'm actually really happy to report that all the liquor licenses, as well as their payments and required documentation, has been received by almost all of our establishments except for 2. So that's a good thing. So if you guys want to approve those ones that have already been in and completed, that would be great.
I moved for the approval of completed except the liquor license application.
Sanchez seconds.
May I have a second? Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none. May we have a roll call?
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Pius,
Caius, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Weber.
Weber, yes.
The motion passes. Congratulations to everybody.
Madam Chairman, do we approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, we
Sorry,
did.
I stepped out for a moment from the last meeting. I'd like to note on the minutes from the last meeting that it marks me as absent. I was sorry, I was hoping to be here to chime in before we approve those minutes. I was on Zoom. So I don't know if I can go back to have that corrected. It's real simple.
Sure.
Okay. Just from the
Absolutely.
make that correction in the last minutes. I was present at the meeting, but
Okay.
it was remote. It was one of the early remote meetings.
Absolutely. Clerk, do you have those corrections? And do we need to go back and amend our vote on approval of the minutes since they have been amended?
Yeah, I don't know if we would have to reconsider that or if we all, I don't know. how
Let's
that would work.
reconsider. I move that we approve the minutes as amended.
Weber will second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Pius,
Guys, yes?
Sanchez,
Yes.
Weber.
Weber, yes.
The minutes are approved as per amended. Thank you. Is there, okay, so we have, as I'm walking through this, we have 2 contingent applications that we need to have discussion on. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'll let you lead that conversation.
The first one I want to bring up is Old Stark's Tavern. I've notified them several times and have spoken with them in person. And the gentleman did stop in a couple of days ago and finally picked up his documents. I have not received anything from that establishment as of this moment. So at this point, I don't have anything to prepare a liquor license for them. If they do get them in, is the committee willing to approve their liquor license based on them getting everything in? Or do you want to meet again to approve it? Customarily, the commission will approve those liquor licenses that are contingent. But I didn't want to assume that without you guys talking about that.
So does everybody understand what the conversation is going to be about in your decision?
This is for Old Starks?
This is for
Correct.
Old Starks. Will you allow the approval of Old Starks if they get all of their permitting information in appropriately before the end of this month? And allow myself and Jane to have the approval without you voting on it?
Or without you meeting again.
Maybe.
Madam
Yeah, I-
Chair, this is Commissioner Weber. May I ask a question?
Yes, Mr. Weber.
His Old Starks, how long have they been in operation, and have they ever had an issue with making payments for their application?
I don't know how long they've been in business, but I do know that each year, as I have spoke with Barb Garza, the former person who handled this, that they usually are not in compliant. We usually do have to chase them down, and they have paid late fees before, and but they always get it in eventually.
Well, then, with that being said, I would be more in favor of waiting until they put in the information, the application, to make the payment before we approve. I don't want to just have them assume that we're always just going to say yes when they don't want to, be in compliance all the time.
Oh, we're in agreement. No, all paperwork has to be in before any consideration would be given to them. And that paperwork has to be in at what date?
It's past due. It was due, I put a deadline on February 19th. And then when I finally spoke with them in person, I gave them till March 12th, and today's the 18th. And they have to be, everything has to be completed by March 31st because their current liquor license will expire on March 31st. So if we do not have that documentation, they will not be issued their 2021 liquor license, which goes into effect April 1st. And at that point, the sheriff gets involved and,
I would make the motion that we approve it based on their completion and payment of their fee by the due date.
Can I ask a second?
Okay, do you have any further discussion on that? Yes, Mr. Sanchez.
Once upon a time, I lived in Hampshire, and I've been to Old Starks a few times. I don't know, I wasn't there enough to know the owners, but I do know people who do know the owners, and it's possible I can, through the grapevine, really kind of put a fire under their butts to hurry up on that.
Yeah.
Because I know you've told them, and
yeah.
they're
They
obviously aware.
understand, But
but
any help, we'll appreciate any.
I'm not surprised to
any
hear. I'm not
assistance.
surprised to hear this. So
Yeah.
let's just say that.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. It's just they need to get it in.
Jane, can I ask you, how long does it take for you to complete the application process? And should we give them a hard deadline? Because I don't want to have it on, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but if it's March 30th, that may be a weekend.
It doesn't take me that long, as long as they provide everything I need. I put it into a certain program. I then email development and health department to make sure they are in compliance with both of those departments. And then it's, a matter of depositing the money, printing out the certificate, having you sign it and getting it to them. It sounds like a lot, but it can be done.
Could we pick out a date
Yeah.
before the 31st?
Yeah.
That would be comfortable for all that work to get done, and that's the hard date.
I mean, yeah. Why don't we make it this Friday?
And what date would that be?
That's the,
Next Friday's
it's
the
tomorrow.
26th.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the 19th.
Oh, okay.
Well, you want to do it on the 19th?
Well, I'll call them today and say, 'cause, I mean, I've already talked to them. And I know other people in the office have talked to them. I know they were in to pick up the paperwork, even though I've emailed it to them several times. They know their license will expire on the 31st. And I've pretty much extended the due date by over a month for them.
Okay.
So after tomorrow, if we don't have it, is the commission okay with charging them late fees? There's a late fee for not complying with the deadline.
I would be in favor of that.
Isn't it already, is it automatic, the late fees? Like they're,
It's
No,
already late. It should be
I
late.
mean, it's already late, but a lot of times we don't charge them. We'll give them an extra time or, the commission will.
That's why they pay late all the time, because they know we don't want to enforce.
Well, after the 31st, they're definitely going to be late because they'll be out of business. They'll be shut
Right.
down.
To give them the 20, do it till the 26th.
Okay.
Okay, so now that has been changed. So, Mr. Weber, I think you had some comments. I'm sorry, people were talking. Can you share with us all what you had to say so we can all hear it?
No, I'm just saying, obviously, we've always accommodated them, and it sounds like they've always taken advantage of our kindness. They should already have to pay a late fee anyways, and then the regular fee in
Okay.
order to get approval for everything, if they even send everything in.
So, we're going to be charging them, this is my first time with this meeting, so I'm just getting up to speed. So we're going to be charging them a late fee, and the hard deadline will be on the 26th.
Okay.
Which is a week.
From tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And then if they do not comply, then their liquor license is going to be suspended.
It'll be suspended on the 31st.
On the 31st,
automatically.
yes, on the 31st automatically.
It won't be renewed for next year.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
I said one more
Motion,
thing.
a question?
I'm sorry?
We have a motion,
We have a motion to, I think we have to amend our motion. Could you possibly read that back, clerk? Okay, so completion of documentation. Do we want to amend that to March 26th?
yes,
Yes, I would make a motion to do that.
Second. Caius.
Okay, so we have a motion, an amended motion, so we need to take the roll. Is that correct? Because we already had a motion to approve, so we amended the motion,
Well, do we have to vote on
the amended
Point of
motion.
order. On the amended motion or on the amendment and then the motion?
No, we vote on the amended motion first, and then we vote on the motion.
If the first and second agree to change it, then we don't have to.
I think I seconded it, so I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
we need to take a roll call.
Berman,
Herman, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Weber,
Weber, yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, may we have a vote on the original motion?
No, I think that we just
Motion
voted
as
on it as amended.
But we had a motion on the table just to approve, and then we amended it with the specific date.
Well, but the original mover agreed to amend the original motion,
Okay,
and I was the
then we're fine.
seconder, and I
Okay,
agreed
okay,
to. So I
thank
think we
you.
just, so we
So
did
we're
it all-
good?
all one swell swoop,
Yeah, keep it simple.
or fell
Thank you very
swoop.
much. Okay.
Get it?
Sheriff, there's a comment from Aaron Rauscher. It's right here.
All right.
I can read it if you can't have trouble seeing it.
Mr. Rauscher said, I would like add the health department has not been paid yet for Old Stark's food service permit also.
Correct.
Okay, but that's out of the jurisdiction of this committee.
However, if they don't pay that permit, my understanding is they don't get their liquor license either.
Either way.
So,
Okay,
so they won't get it unless they pay that and pay us and get all the documents.
okay. I think you should call your friends.
I definitely will.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, the next one is Cantina La Antigua.
Yes, and I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Van Kerkhoff.
Part of the liquor code includes compliance with other Kane County departments and regulations, specifically the sheriff, health department, and the building department, to ensure that the locations are operating, in compliance with their health, safety, criminal activity, those kind of things. So our departments are happy to work with the Liquor Commission and with each other on these sites. Jane asked me to attend today because with this particular property, we did have a issue that was brought to our attention by the Fire Protection District, who is also a very close partner with us on properties, about some concerns that they had in one of the buildings. We met out there, this was several weeks ago, met out there with Mike Doherty, representing the property owners. He's here today also to answer any questions with the fire district, with members of the health department. And as of this morning, I can report as the building officer that the life safety concerns that were brought up by the fire district and shared by our building team have been resolved. I want to commend Mike Doherty and the property owners for the very speedy resolution to those concerns. Gave us an opportunity to clarify some things that in the transition from the old property owner to the new property owners that maybe were misunderstood by some of the vendors. So we got that clarified. They acted very quickly. I think we met on a Monday or Tuesday, and by Friday afternoon, those were resolved. Aaron Rauscher is also on the line because I think there may continue to be some concerns related to food permits with the health department. I'll let them cover that. There is one remaining item regarding an open building permit required for some changes they're making to the main banquet hall kitchen. Most of those actually start with the redesign of that kitchen and review cooperatively with the health department and the building department. So while that's open, I don't really consider it an issue until they want to do the remodeling to that kitchen and obtain the permits from the building department, the health department to do so. And based on what happened over the last couple of weeks, I have a pretty high level of confidence that Mr. Doherty will work with the owner to see through on those. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, Jay may want to turn over to Aaron Rauscher next.
Are there any questions? No? Oh, all right. And Mr. Rauscher, is he available?
They're online, so
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Aaron, okay.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Okay. Hi. I'm Erin Rauscher. I'm one of the environmental health supervisors with the King County Health Department. And to give an update on what is going on at this facility, we did receive permit fee payment for 2 of the bars. On the diagram, they submitted 2 of the bars are in one building that have applied for a food permit. We are still missing their paperwork, but they have paid their permit fee. So we would be willing to allow them to operate as long as they get in their permit fee. I'm sorry, not their permit fee, their paperwork application into us. The other 3 bars they have in their main banquet room currently do not have a paid for permit with us. So they would need to turn in the permit application and payment first before being allowed to operate. The outside bars they have would be considered a seasonal, so they aren't operating year round. They again would also need to turn in a permit application and permit fee to the health department. We are okay to give them approval to do bar service at bars 2 and 3, which they have paid for, but not until they turn in their permit application. And we highly stress that they are not allowed to do any food service at this establishment until they get plans submitted and approved by the health department. The only thing we are approving is bar service.
And that is for bars 2 and 3?
2 and 3 until they get their permit application. They're missing one piece of paperwork to us. They need to turn in their food permit application. Once they get that in, we would be fine to allow them to operate.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Sanchez.
I personally would be inclined to approve this with the caveat that all of these things have to be completed until they get the whole package. So doing it all at once and not saying, let's give them part of it now, if that's even an option, but just saying, as long as they take care of all these permits and payments, then I would be willing to approve it.
Oh, okay. I think we need to have a motion first before we go into discussion.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second. Caius?
Okay, so now the discussion. Is there anybody who else thoughts on this, Mr. Caius?
Yeah, given our history with this establishment and the organization, I know Mr. Van Kerkhoff says he's comfortable with what they're doing on the building side of it. Is that correct? But on the food service, it's still an open-ended, we were requiring them to do things. And given what they've been in the past, was to stretch this out and not comply. I would agree with Mr. Sanchez in that I'd like to know just how much it would impact if we don't approve it right now on their business. I hate to shut them down, but I think we need to make sure that they are understanding that they need to complete all of the paperwork and get it all to us so that this isn't something that we're dealing with in the fall again, because we've had a number of times with this establishment. Beginning.
Jane?
I just want to let you know that they have complied with all of the liquor application requirements and their payments. They do have 7 bars that they've listed. So I want to make sure the health department's aware they have 7 bars. Aaron, you know that, right?
Yes, we are aware. The 7 bars we've divided into 3 separate food permits due to because they're not all located
Okay.
in the same building. We're permitting them separately. So bars 1, 4, and 5 are under 1. Bars 2 and 3 are under 1. And then 6 and 7 are under a food permit. So there's 3 separate food permits total.
So when you say that 2 and 3 are okay, do you mean the 2 and 3 groups or just bar 2 and 3?
Bar number 2 and 3 are okay until they get in the food permit application. They've paid for the permit, but they haven't turned in the actual application.
Okay. So,
Madam Chairman,
Oh,
this is Deborah Allen. I'm sitting in.
yes.
May I ask a question?
Oh, absolutely.
What I am remembering is that these folks brought in all of their food because their kitchens were simply not able to function yet. So I just wanted to ask, when they talk about food permits, are they having it basically catered?
Mr. Doherty is here. Perhaps he can address the.
Yes, if we have a banquet, it's catered. Everything is brought in and everything is taken out. Nothing's washed or cleaned or anything. The applications that Ms. Roucher was talking about, I received last night, and I'm started the process this morning. I'll have them probably finished this afternoon and into her tomorrow.
Okay.
And that's for bars number 2 and 3?
Yes. Bars number 2 and 3, correct?
The 2 and 3, the permit was paid. The paperwork is being filled out.
Okay.
And that's what you're referring to?
Correct.
Bar 2 and 3? And 1, 4, and 5 are?
are they okay, Aaron?
How are they? They're not up for approval at this point because right now, from what Ms. Rauscher has just shared with us, they are giving authorization for bars 2 and 3. There's 7 bars, 1, 4, and 5, and 6 and 7 are.
6 and 7 are in exterior seasonal properties, bars. 1, 4, and 5 are in the banquet halls. And 1 is a major, real bar, a big bar. 4 and 5 are little service bars for each banquet room. They're only used if a banquet is in banquet hall A, we have a little bar there for serving beer and wine and that type of thing. And the same with the bar 5. That's in another banquet room.
And I believe that you need to have paperwork for that site and paperwork for your outside site. Is that right, Ms. Rauscher?
That is correct, yes. The bars, just to reiterate, bars 1, 4, and 5 will go under 1 food permit. Bars 2 and 3 are under 1, and then bars 6 and 7 are under a separate one.
And we don't have any paperwork on any of those? Or, I'm sorry to have to go back, but this is multiplying my confusion here. Do we have paperwork on the banquet and like 1, 4, and 5 banquet and the 2 satellites?
No, we do not have a permit application turn in. Every year, food service establishments are required to send in the current year food permit application. So even if they've been operating for 20, 30 years, they have to turn in a food permit application every year. So we're missing the food permit application.
And they're not paid for.
They are not paid for 1, 4, and 5. They have paid for bars 2 and 3.
Okay, so no application, not paid for on 1, 4, 5. No application, but paid for on 2, 3. And 6, 7 is no application and not paid for as well?
Correct.
Correct.
So we're deciding, I don't want to take this over or anything, but we're deciding on today on whether we're going to allow them to use 2 and 3 at this point without because they paid, but there is no a contingent that we'd have the application submitted. Is that correct?
I mean, you could do the same thing you did for Old Stars and just approve the liquor license based on them completing all of their paperwork and paying.
For all, and paying for all 7.
All 7 bars. Mr. Sanchez?
Correct.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Mr. Doherty, given all the applications and the fees that still need to be submitted, what is the timeline do you think is reasonable for you guys to have all of that in? Would you be able to have it in by the 26th, for instance?
The application which I received last night for 1, 4, and 5, and will be in, say, tomorrow, for sure. And the same for the application for 2 and 3 will be in tomorrow also. That 2 and 3 was already paid for. It's my fault, my ignorance, to be honest with you. I didn't know we had to do a permit for the food. And that was brought to attention last week when we had a meeting out there. And it's kind of all resolving itself. Like I brought the fee in, didn't know I had to have a permit fill out. It's my confusion.
Okay, so the 26th, next Friday, is plenty of time for you guys,
Absolutely.
Is that for 6 and 7 as well?
Correct.
for everything.
So
All of them.
by the 26th, you would have all 7 of them paid for and all the paperwork in?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Does that sound right to you, Mark? I know you're involved in some of the other things.
Yeah, sure. If you think of the liquor license as being the potential or the ability to them to serve liquor at their establishment, and part of their diagram at these 7 locations is kind of like entitlement or an ability to, it doesn't alleviate them that in actually to physically operate those bars, they have to be in compliance with life safety building and the health department licenses. So if one of them weren't in compliance as of April 1st or went out of compliance sometime during the course of the year, they would be in violation of the health food permit. And that could be cause if they continue to operate the bar in violation of the health permits, that could be subject to revocation of their liquor license. So, the liquor license is both an entitlement in order to let them plan and move ahead with, the ability to serve, but it's also a very strong tool if they fall out of compliance or, do other things that otherwise be, in danger to public health and safety, that the sheriff, the health department, or myself as the building officer can come back to the commission and recommend revocation of their liquor license. So it's sort of a 2-legged stool or 4-legged bar stool, if you want to look at it that way. That answers your question.
4-legged bar stool for
helps
7
you-
bars.
It helps you make your decision moving forward.
Right, so you're comfortable with all those other things. If we give them the liquor license, that you feel comfortable that they will then be able to finish up the other things that you're associated with. as
From
far as
from a building
compliance.
department?
Yes.
Yes, so I would defer to Aaron Rauscher on how the health department feels about the status of the food permits for the bars in particular.
Aaron, please.
Would that,
hold
would
on.
the food service necessarily be involved in the bar?
Aaron can answer that, but it is if they're making mixed drinks and ice. That's why they need a food permit for some of the bars. Not to be confused with a food permit for actually preparing food in a kitchen.
Okay,
And I'll let Aaron elaborate on that since I'm wading
please.
out of my
Yeah,
pond
sorry.
here.
Thank you.
Yeah, to read what Mark is saying, correct, right? To have a full service bar, that does require a low risk food permit. There's different risk levels. So with a low risk food permit, that would permit them to make mixed drinks and use ice for this. So when you mean food permit, we're not giving them permission to be cooking, heating, cooling food because of the risk type. It's a low risk. Currently, their main banquet kitchen wouldn't have the ability to do food based on a low risk food permit. It wouldn't be permitted. So these permits are meant just to have a full service bar at the time. If they did, once they do remodel the main banquet kitchen and it gets approved by the health department, we assess it based on their food service and then a risk type. If they get a higher risk food permit, then they're more permitted to do items. But these low risk food permits are just meant for the full service bar.
Okay,
Okay.
just one more question for Aaron. And so I think there was some discussion of them actually trying to prepare food beyond just warming things up or something. That's been dealt with?
It has, yes, they've gone to have food trucks on the site. So within the food trucks, those are essentially self-sufficient kitchens inside the truck. So the food is permitted to be prepared and cooked in the truck and then served outside the truck. We are trying to work with them to do some temporary food vendors, obviously with permission from building and the fire department, to see what they could do moving forward. But as of now, they're not permitted to do any indoor food cooking or preparation at this time until we get approvals from health, building, and the fire department.
And that's enforced with regular inspections?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Caius?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think, I'll just sum it up. I think the motion was to go ahead with it, with the same kind of deadline on the 26th to have all of the paperwork for those bars.
I didn't really specify in my motion, so if anything, I'll just say I would amend my motion to reflect that we'll approve it as long as everything is submitted by the 26th.
All the paperwork
Applications and payments.
and payments are done by the 26th, which
The
gives you a
26th.
week.
March 26.
That's very good.
And I will amend my second then on that. So
All right. May we please, ready to call the roll? Call the roll, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Caius,
yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Weber,
Weber, yes.
Okay, passes, thank you. And now the next item on the agenda is liquor license that have not renewed.
I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that the Columbian Club is no longer in unincorporated Kane County. They were annexed into the city of Batavia. So we are not managing their liquor license anymore.
And where is that located?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay,
I don't
just
have their
curious.
address, but I can
Okay.
provide that.
All righty.
That's all I had.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I had a couple of questions, if you don't mind, just for a second. I was going through these. The Burr Road Country Club, is that now the Hawk Country Club? Don't know. I was
Their
trying to
applica-
Google some of these and,
Yeah, their application still shows Blue Boar.
okay. And Calamity Jane's and Country Stop they're must have almost the same address. Look like they're in the same
They're
building.
actually on a corner and the Country Stop's on the corner, but if you round the corner, right next to it is Calamity
Right
Jane's.
there, so, okay. The Mill Creek is, Gulf Visions is in Mill Creek. Both of those in Greenfields, I think.
Possibly. I don't have their addresses in front of me.
And Case, just for my edification, I'm sorry, I should have asked you ahead of time.
Okay.
KC Concessions, is that King Cougars?
That is King
Concessions?
County Cougars. Mhm.
And the Rich Harvest Farms, that's a golf?
Yes.
Golf.
It's
So
a
even
golf
though it's
club.
called Rich Harvest Farms, it's golf.
Uh-huh.
And I struck out on Rudy's Lounge in the Silver Spur Ranch, but in Mill Creek, the Totra Ma Mill Creek Market
Mhm.
toward the bottom there. Is that package only? I know that that came before. They're not serving drinks, are they? This is, or
I
is
think
there
it's package only.
package only?
I think
Okay.
so.
And I know they had a question about doing that last time. And then I think that's it, yeah.
Okay.
Winter Circle's in Sycamore.
Maple Park, officially Maple Park,
Oh, okay.
right next to Sycamore Speedway.
That's
Right.
correct.
Okay,
That's
great.
correct.
Thanks for that. Just we're trying to get a picture on where we're
Sure.
putting, there's quite a few more applications this year than last.
Actually, these are the same. We just actually lost one Colombian Club.
Oh, really?
We just have more approved this year or a more completed before.
Oh, I see. That could be it as well. Okay. I understand. Okay, thank you.
All right. Do we have any old business? And is there any new business? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Caius, move.
Sanchez
I'm
seconds.
second.
Thank you. Please call the roll. Berman,
Yes.
yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Weber.
Weber, yes.
Okay, thank you.